I got beer in my boots, dirt on my truck, corn on my mind, and a gun up my butt. It's a small town. At least there's dirt, at least there's beer and trucks and shirts.
Howdy there. You've been on the internet all day and you come across the Death of Fun podcast. Join me, Matt McKinley, and my buddies Aaron, Rob, and Tim as we bring you the latest in current events, sports, and a whole bunch of inappropriate jokes that we used to tell to each other back when we were roommates in college. And the world wasn't so lame. So kick back, crack a beer, and join us for a few laps. Unless you're gay. And even if you are, join us anyways. Welcome to the Death of Fun. Well, welcome back. This is the Death of Fun.
Can I just bring up one show point?
Okay.
Went out to St. Patty's with Tim, and we were talking about talking to each other more. He's like, "No, I'll definitely be on the show more."
Huh. I didn't hear anything from him today. We had a pretty good back and forth today, and Tim was not involved. Brad chimed in once or twice.
Yes.
Not Tim. Not Tim.
Rob tried to argue with us when we were agreeing with him.
As is tradition.
As is tradition.
Yeah, so we had talked about this here a while back about doing a little good Trump, bad Trump. Because I voted for the guy. You didn't.
I voted for Matt McKinley.
Nice.
And Robbie Trujillo.
Nice.
Two people I could trust.
But as everybody knows, I am not at all sold. I'm not married to Trump. I love the guy for the pure entertainment. It is kind of nice to have somebody with some cojones in the White House again. That is nice, I will say.
Somebody who can walk.
Whose brain functions. I mean, it functions differently for sure, but it functions. There's no doubt about that.
He can feed himself.
But it feels like he was off to the races for a good 30, 45 days, and then now it's starting to feel like it's kind of a replay of the first, where like, all right, so you got some good ideas, and you pick the shittiest people to do your job for you.
And it's great. Like, Rob tries to start an argument, and I just had to point out to Rob, when he got selected, Hegseth, we had concerns.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know much about Hegseth. I don't watch cable news I truly don't. I don't watch Fox News. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch MSNBC, except for clips here and there, and it's usually people making fun of said networks. So Hegseth was a Fox News guy. So I don't know, but I did like what the stuff he had to say about making the military the military again instead of some sort of social project.
And let's be honest, the past couple of years with all these people who are supposedly, both administrations supposedly have the credentials to be in this job, not thrilled with what they've done.
Well, right. So there's plenty of people that have credentials that don't have the ability. Like Hillary Clinton was a prime example. Most qualified person to be president ever. Okay, but all of her experience was bad experience. Like, she was Secretary of State and a major driving force behind overthrowing Muammar Gaddafi, who then got raped to death by a bayonet in the streets.
That is still this day, like, after reading history with like Mussolini hung upside down and all that shit,
Mhm.
That may be the top of the list of like brutal
It
fucking
was
deaths.
rough. It was rough. Yeah. So, but that was like her shining achievement as Secretary of State. You know, she even, she has that famous quote like, "We came, we saw, he died." Right. Well, okay, but now they have open air slave markets in Libya, so that's cool.
You know what? It goes back to your mafia argument. You
Hmm.
know, like
They're all
brutal,
just they're all just mafia dons.
but what does the mafia do well, Matt?
Well, they let you know when you fucked up, and they usually let you know very, very aggressively that you fucked up. But beforehand, like you know very well, and then they take you out and they make an example.
And they somewhat keep order.
Hmm. They do.
Like, it's
They,
terrible, but
yeah. Well, I mean, my dad always he said that it's like the most of the mafia ever took was 10% until you didn't pay him. And then, oh, but yeah, they like you hear like little old ladies. I remember hearing from different documentaries and whatnot. Like little old ladies in New Jersey are just like, well, I mean, I don't really agree with how they made their money, but the neighborhood was sure safer back in. I don't know, man. They're so I don't know about Hegseth, but if you guys have not been on the internet or listened to the
talk to
news
anybody.
here lately, well, apparently a very anti-Trump journalist, and not an honest journalist either by by any means, um, was somehow added to a group text on Signal, so it's through Signal, which is supposed to be encrypted, end-to-end encrypted, with the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, the National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, who created the group, um, Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, Chief of Staff, whatever that old lady's name is, that's the Chief of Staff, Susie something. A whole bunch of people. And then this Jeffrey Goldberg fella who's about as anti-Trump as it comes, but not like from the shrieking purple-haired lefty side. It's more from like the Dick Cheney side of things.
He's the chief editor of the Atlantic.
Of the Atlantic, yeah, which is only like it's a different name than the Bulwark, but it's essentially the same thing, or the Lincoln Project, or it might as well be Halliburton.
Right.
If we're talking, I mean, it's essentially just Dick Cheney Inc. And so apparently it was Mike Waltz, the National Security Advisor, who created the group and added this Jeffrey Goldberg on. And it's a weird one. They were discussing bombing the Houthis, which if anybody's not aware, we've been at war with the Houthis more or less since 2014. Who are the Houthis? I don't really know, but they're in Yemen. I don't know what they believe. They don't like us. They don't like Israel.
Aren't they just a proxy for Iran, basically?
Well, that's what the national security apparatus would have you believe, and I think that there is a large degree of truth to that. But kind of like Hezbollah and Hamas, they while they're funded by Iran, they're not really controlled by Iran. It's kind of like Zelensky. We fund him, but do we control him? Fuck no, we don't. He instructed their negotiators to walk out of the meeting with Russia the other day. So yeah, we don't control him. Same. And the Houthis, I think, they're more than happy to take our Iranian money and shit, but they do what they want, I believe.
They're straight up like grandparents giving kids candy and then just
Kinda.
watching the chaos.
But the candy is like some kind of sophisticated drone stuff nowadays. Like,
Yeah, like how the fuck do they got this shit?
I don't know, but it's costing us a fuckload of money, and we're not stopping them. That's the problem. It's like, but also another real thorn in the side of this issue that doesn't get brought up a whole lot, except from libertarian type people like me, is that you notice when there was that ceasefire in Gaza, there was no mention of the Houthis and the Red Sea, because that was their deal. Is like, we're not, as long as you're waging war on Gaza, we're going to wage war on Israeli and U.S. and British ships coming through the Red Sea. And then when the ceasefire was implemented, the Houthis stopped shooting shit at us. And then when Israel started bombing Gaza again, that's when the Houthis started shooting shit at us again. And I don't necessarily disagree with bombing the fuck out of them, because you kind of gotta keep shit open over there. But it's kind of obvious to who the person or the side of that equation you should be putting more pressure on, because once they stopped doing what they were doing, the Houthis stopped doing what they were doing. And once Israel picked it back up, the Houthis picked it back up. So we're like, all right, can you fuckers figure something out over here? So they've cut. I don't know if people realize this, because we don't get a whole lot of, the U.S. doesn't get a whole lot of trade through the Suez, which is something that J.D. Vance brought up in this text conversation.
Yeah,
But
that was pretty refreshing.
it was kind of nice, wasn't it?
It was like, whoa.
It was somebody trying to look at the whole picture type of thing. It was kind of nice.
And then I thought the best thing was he threw that out and he's like, but I will back whatever you guys say and not dissent in public. Like,
I like that stance, honestly. I've heard a lot of people saying that he was really weak, but I like, no, I mean, know your spot. He's the VP. You can't be outshining, especially Trump. You can't outshine Trump, or he'll kick you to the side real quick. So, I don't know how would that work? Can they force? Has a vice president ever resigned?
not that I know of.
I don't think that's ever happened. I know they've switched. Because didn't FDR have like 3 different VPs?
Shit, I don't know.
I don't know either, but I don't think
LBJ didn't resign. He just,
he just made a phone call, or gave the old LBJ was the third base coach.
LBJ was the original Dick Cheney, except with more initiative, we'll say.
I mean, LBJ was kind of an evil motherfucker, but I kind of put him in that Trump category, where I kind of love LBJ, because he had no regard for the media at all. He's like, oh, you want to talk? I got to take a shit. Why don't you come talk to me while I'm taking a shit? And he pulled his dick out all the time, and he called it jumbo. Yeah.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
It is. Yeah, I don't. It's
So to get back on the text chain, this text was sent to where they put this editor-in-chief on there somehow. I still don't know how.
Yeah, I don't either.
The thing I love is just people on the left, like Hillary Clinton and all them, who poo-pooed. How long? She was on that server for a while, right? And then they destroyed evidence of it.
Right.
What was it like? They were investigating, and then she did it. Was that correct?
Yeah, it was in the middle of the investigation.
But it's just like, yes, big fuck up.
But
But
remember when they tried to get Trump for obstruction of justice to a crime that he didn't commit during the Russiagate deal?
yeah,
Remember that was the only thing the 3-year Mueller report gave us was that like he maybe obstructed justice into this bullshit investigation.
dude, the hypocrisy is so fucking nuts right now. It is like infuriating.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got the hill dog.
We do not want to suicide ourselves.
No,
Just disclaimer.
I am an of sound mental health.
Not Joe Biden Jello mode.
No, I do not feel suicidal. Never
Me
have.
neither. Me neither.
I think that's kind of a coward's way out, personally, but that's neither here nor there. I don't have any information leading to the arrest of Hillary Clinton. I just
I don't think the Holy Father. I think it's frowned upon with the Holy Father of figure yourself out, and you and me of Christian background do not want to unalive
right.
ourselves. Yeah.
I don't really subscribe to a branch of Christianity, but I'm homies with Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah. The Trump administration accidentally texted me its war plans. Hillary Clinton's. You have got to be kidding me with eye emojis. That's another thing. There was emojis. Everybody's doing emojis nowadays.
Yeah, what was it? It was like fire, American flag, fist.
Muscle. It's like the bicep.
That's what it was. Uh-huh.
Prayer hands too. I think Tulsi sent the prayer hands.
Good job, Tulsi. I didn't expect her to be an emoji gal.
I wouldn't have either, but yeah. So
you know what?
The national security team's on a group chat like we are.
So she only sent prayer hands.
I think so, and then she also like, somebody asked like your guy for this particular deal, and so she's like Joe Kent's mine for counterterrorism and blah blah blah.
Like the prayer hands, I always saw as like when we have a thread.
Yeah,
you really just don't want to talk. You send like a GIF or emoji to kind of like close out the conversation.
Pretty much. I almost never, unless it's a thumbs up emoji. All of my emoji sendings, and I do a lot of them, but it's mostly for irony's sake. Right. I realize it looks childish. I'm aware of it. I just don't care.
It's when you don't have anything else to add to the conversation, but you acknowledge that you've seen it.
So, I'm trying to find the meme, but apparently Adam Kinzinger posted a really funny meme about this whole thing, and that guy is the douchiest of douches.
Oh, and then Adam Schiff going on there.
No, Adam Schiff, yeah.
Like going on there and just, this is terrible. This is blah, 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 blah. I'm like, this motherfucker. This motherfucker.
I know. Yeah, it's infuriating when you see douchebags like that. Where the fuck is that?
Should we drive down to Highlands Ranch and put a Elon Musk sticker on Rob's Tesla?
Can we key a dick into the side of it?
Right?
I don't want to key a swastika into Rob's Tesla because I don't want to be arrested for a hate crime.
What if you were to key the Star of David in it?
That's still, I don't know.
Yeah, wait, the Nazis did that. Never mind.
They did do that. So if we just stick it with a dick, I think we're good.
Just a dick.
Yeah. But I was listening to I think it was on Drinking Bros this morning. They were talking about this meme that Adam Kinzinger shared, and it was like a spoof of the chat thread. But every time JD Vance replied, somebody changed his avatar to one of the millions of JD Vance memes that have been floating around. And he's like, guys, who's doing that? That's funny because I don't know why the JD Vance memes give me so much joy, but they really do.
My favorite is Goth JD Vance.
Goth JD Vance. The little like fat like Candyland Vance is also hilarious. I don't know. The internet's amazing with that stuff, and he just does happen to have one of the most memeable faces of all time.
Side note, it just popped in my mind. Somebody's listening to the podcast. Remember about a month ago when the whole giving back the Statue of Liberty popped up?
Mm-hmm.
And I put out the idea that we should send it in parts and just leave it on Omaha Beach with a bill for all the money.
Yeah.
And then not 2.5 weeks later, that exact fucking a little bit tweaked.
Yeah.
But essentially it was the same. Well, we'll send it back as soon as you pay our bill for World War II. I'm like, God, somebody's fucking listening. Somebody is fucking listening.
Oh, dude, it's really wild here. So like the Zelensky thing at the White House, which I don't care who that is, wear a fucking suit to the White House. And if you're begging for money, don't try to use the American media to make the guy that's supposed to give you the money look bad. I mean, that was
like suck some dick.
I mean, seriously, do you want your country to survive? Eat a little shit. You're gonna have to eat a little shit. And also, like, why the fuck should the president of the United States be deferential to that piece of shit? What does he have that makes him think he can act like that in our fucking house?
Well, it's just like all the other things now, like with the tariffs and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, oh, we're in trouble, America. Dude, look at the United States GDP versus Canada and Mexico. Look at military strength. Like like the starting QB is not in trouble. Okay.
Yeah.
Like if the third string quarterback quits the team, the starting QB is not in trouble.
No,
like, this isn't American hubris. This is just straight up American statistics.
Right. Well, before we get into that, let's wrap up this text chat because there was another one I sent you. Let me find it. Well, I sent a couple of them, and they're pretty good. So, and they're all just like memes of. Oh well, I'll pop it up.
Pop it up.
I'll pop it up.
Did you like my ball skin tag comment this morning?
I
100% true.
I mean, if I had one, yeah, I would too.
For the listeners at home, somehow Lindsey Graham's Ladybugs came up today, and I had to share with the group. I have this skin tag on my balls. So every time I scratch and nick it, all I can hear in my mind is ladybugs. Fucking Matt McKinney, ladybugs.
Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham. Let's see. All right, there's one. Anxiety. What if you're not good enough? Depression. Everyone hates you. Pete Hegseth. we are going to bomb Yemen. And I'm going to find the other one, which I thought was the best one. And it's also a Pete Hegseth. Maybe Pete. Hey, dude, we're going to bomb the hotties. Asterisk Hooters. Asterisk Hooties. Asterisk Yemen. Response, who is this? But to put a bow on all of it, that's not good. It's not great. Like, did it hurt anything? No, just your reputation and image of competency.
And I also love too when they asked Trump about it and it was just coming out and he's like, I haven't heard anything about this. And the media just hammered on him. I'm like, you fucking guys, you're hammering on the president not knowing about this text chain
that he wasn't part of.
Yeah, and then last 4 years, your guy who you put up, you claiming he fucking knew everything.
Yeah,
he knew everything. Fuck, man, the hypocrisy, dude, kills me. Fucking kills me. That.
I know it. So I guess at the end of it, it's not great, and from no matter what angle you look at it from, because as I was telling you, I am not above thinking that the CIA is somehow involved. If you read that article, especially the first part of the article before Trump said nothing was classified, Tulsi Gabbard testified under oath that nothing was classified. So,
and with that whole thing, I cringed at that too. Like, you're literally going hour by, the timeline.
Yeah.
Of when and where this shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, and you're saying it's not war plans. And you're like,
What did they reclassify it as? Not war plans, but they called it something else.
I don't remember. It was
the fucking difference.
It was a lot of wordplay. A lot of wordplay. Yeah. So I don't know the specifics, but I'm pretty sure. Well, here, I'll ask Grok right now, the Twitter AI deal, but I'm pretty sure Signal was developed by the CIA.
And the administrations have been using it.
Yes, they have. But the Trump campaign had their Signal hacked during the campaign. Of all the branches of the government, okay, so it says no, Signal was not developed by the CIA. The rumor about CIA involvement likely stems from misinformation or confusion about with other cases like the CIA's historical ties to certain tech projects, funding of the early internet technologies. There's no credible evidence linking Signal's development to the CIA. Its funding comes primarily from donations. Okay. So, all right. That's not convincing enough for me to say that the CIA wasn't involved somehow. If it's secret shit made in the United States of America or stuff to keep stuff secret, it was probably developed by the CIA first. That's kind of more my rule of thumb is. So that being said, even if it wasn't developed by the CIA has got some weird shit. I know there's this program called Pegasus where I think that was developed by the Israeli intelligence, where they can essentially just hack your entire phone, and they don't use their first version. You had to click on a link, like a malware type link, and now they just have to have your phone number, and then they can beep boop 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 and do whatever it is. So I'm not above thinking that somebody, whether it was CIA or some other deep state actor, that did some fuckery to insert this guy in there and maybe even had him hidden from the list or whatever. But I don't know. It's also more likely that somebody just fucked up.
Which
And
again, it just comes to the point, like, why would anybody have this reporter on their contact list?
right.
Because
It's
what's his initials?
JG.
JG,
Yeah.
JD.
Yeah.
Like fuck.
Right. Well, and I guess supposedly it was supposed to be like the trade representative that was on there, which why the trade representative would be on that type of text chain. I don't know.
Walt explained it that there was like tariffs coming soon, but why would you put tariffs on a
We put tariffs on
territory?
that missiles, damn it. On those missiles, damn it. We're tariffing the fuck out of the missiles we're sending you.
Right. Like that didn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Like somebody's got to get fired for that. Yeah, I don't I don't care. Somebody's got to get fired for that. It's too big of a egg on the face moment. And so did it hurt anything? No. Was anything really other than like the timing? Like nothing was really. It was just like oh F-18s and Reaper drones and submersible or sea-based missiles. Okay.
What they'll do is they'll probably fucking get some intern who's making fucking barely minimum wage alcoholic. They'll probably get him fired.
Yeah. Chalk it up to Doge. Doge found the leaker.
Doge found the leaker. Speaking of Doge, fucking Rob. I like how we were bringing up like just the sheer vandalism happening to like Tesla.
Yeah. And he brought
up
Kid Rock shooting his own Bud Light.
Yeah, like Rob, you notice how I brought up that I was like, well, he bought that product and then shot at it, and didn't hear anything.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not a word.
Was that a win in our book? Like, was it? Did he realize how stupid that talking point was?
I hope so.
God, not even close to the same thing.
Well, and also, we said that was gay at the time too.
Yeah.
We also said that Bud Light was being, well, not even gay. They were being trans about it, and that's gay. So like all of it, we're just like this whole thing is gay, and the Tesla thing also gay. Like the fact that a bunch of conservatives who used to hate electric vehicles are now like, yeah, Elon's man, yeah, Tesla. That they're still not buying Teslas, but it's still only the libtards like Rob that buy them.
Well, and I thought it was the funniest point. Like, liberals are now destroying liberals' property against the guy who liberals don't even like.
Yeah,
like it's liberal crime.
Like outside of like the bombing the factories and stuff, but like the keying of the cars and shit. Like, well, you're just pissing off fellow resistance types. It's a lot of friendly fire there.
Then fucking Rob's reasoning for keeping his
It was the most Jewish reason of all time.
What did he say? He said, well, I want to keep mine because Tesla's going to tank so much that Elon Musk is going to reward us for our loyalty. Fucking Rob.
And
Rob.
I think he was at best only halfway joking about that.
He was. He thought about that. That was not a statement that was just off the cuff. He thought about it.
Yeah.
And you know what? His Tesla will never get keyed in Highlands Ranch because all those are kind of like well-to-do liberals.
Right. They're the not in my neighborhood type of liberals.
Yes.
They're the same type of people that that were more than happy to kick the migrants right the fuck out of Martha's Vineyard.
They're the not the weekend protesters. They are the argue with your friends on text about the horribles of
they're
Elon
the
Musk
ones
while
that
still
They'll
owning
put
it.
a Ukrainian flag in their bio on Instagram, but
Yes.
but yet don't send me an actual Mexican. not in my backyard.
Fucking Rob.
I
Oh my God.
remember we were arguing about this one time on the immigration thing in particular, and then Rob said, "Well, if Texas would just do their job," like your guy, the head of the government, is currently suing Texas for trying to do their job and securing the border. Oh, that's like the immigration flight deal. Like a district court judge
judge
is trying to tell the president of the United States what to do with his prisoners. Like,
and even Justice Keegan, there's a clip of her out there saying she was afraid of district judges basically blocking U.S. president policy.
right.
Like there's a clip of her warning against that.
I feel like I heard this somewhere, and I agree with that point. Like, district court judges should not be dealing with the president of the United States. That feels like it, or it has to be like the full panel of the district. Like, either that or straight to the Supreme Court, because you can't have some jackass who's like, no, you have to turn that plane around and bring those illegal migrants back here. And no, fuck you. You don't get to do that.
And people like Rob will just rally on how they don't want the United States to be ruled by one person making decisions, and then be okay with the district court judge essentially
an unelected district court judge.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, on the federal level, the lowest level of judges is trying to tell the fucking commander-in-chief to turn around a military airplane.
And isn't the left's big deal like all these judges are impartial and unfair?
Well, yeah, it's so funny, just depending on like so just the hypocrisy on all sides. So you have the conservatives are all on the Teslas now, which, I mean, not really all the conservatives, but like all the right-wing online ecosphere, like the influencer types are like, now it's we gotta kick out these so that's another thing. Like, Trump, I agree with the mass deportations. I do. However, you can't just revoke some dude's green card because he was at a protest. That dude's here legally. I have no problem with a legal citizen. Now, if he has ties to Hamas and was actually aiding and abetting Hamas, okay, make that case. But are we free speech or are we not? Because I thought that was a big thing of the Trump campaign was free speech, and protests, as much as they're annoying and gay, and I don't think they serve much purpose, they are covered under that First Amendment, free speech stuff, as well as like the due process stuff. So, yeah, well, fuck that judge. I do think there is a point where, like, if they're illegal and you can prove it, I don't care if they're a gang member or not, deport their ass. But if you can, like, hey, this is a verified member of this Tren de Aragua gang, which we've designated a domestic terrorist organization. Yeah, I don't care where we send them, but it can't be here.
And I get this point, but it was just like, come on. This lawyer was on. She's like, well, just because a person has a trade date blah 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 tattoo doesn't mean they're a gang member. I'm like, do you guys know anything about gang life? If you're wearing that tattoo and you're not a member,
right,
you're fucking dead.
It's like if you're wearing if you're wearing like military rank that you didn't earn, there's a good chance you're going to get your ass beat out in public. I mean, one's legal and one's not. One's a military organization, one's a criminal organization, but it's still a brotherhood and it's something that you earn. So yeah, you don't just. I was like back in the day, you don't just wear blood colors into the Crip territory because you thought it looked cool. No, you get your fucking ass beat at the very least.
At the very least.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have much issue with the sending to El Salvador. There's a lot of people up in arms about it. Like it's a prison known for torture, and like, is it? Because I haven't seen you cite any like case of that. You just say like it's known for torture. Like, known by who? Like,
and I'm pretty sure Maduro pulled a fucking Castro and just emptied his prisons.
Well, that's yeah, but people called Trump crazy for saying that.
Like there's no precedent for this.
Yeah,
we haven't seen this before.
Never happened before, huh? Yeah, I think the thing that I think Trump is doing some really intriguing stuff with, like, challenging court precedents. So like the birthright citizenship deal, I think that whole executive order was meant to be shot down immediately and go to the Supreme Court, because I agree with the lefties that say the president can't just override the Constitution. I 100% believe that. However, I do think challenging or at least at the very least, we should get a clarification of what birthright citizenship means. And what Trump's argument is, like, hey, you can't come over here illegally and then have a kid, or even come over here, on vacation, have a kid, and then just establish a pipeline to citizenship because you had a kid over here, whether you're here illegally or not. And so, like, all right, I think there's a case to be made there. I don't know what that case is. I don't know how you would argue that case, but I'm really intrigued to see what it is, because I think there does need to be a clarification, just like the Roe versus Wade thing. I don't care what you think about abortion. That ruling was a terrible ruling because it just the judiciary made up a law. And that's not what the judiciary does. They adjudicate laws, but they don't implement laws. They don't write the laws. They don't make them up. They adjudicate.
The founders weren't about states' rights, Matt.
Oh, no, they weren't, I guess. So, I don't know. So some of that stuff is very good Trump, but like the crackdown on the Palestinian protester type people, I think that's bad Trump. I think that's bad Trump. That's a bad precedent. And granted, the Democrats have already set that precedent, but that doesn't mean it's a good one.
Well, bad Trump too with this whole Hegseth thing.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching it and you put that little conspiracy theory part in my brain. I was kind of watching, and like the administration was just straight up deflecting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, this was like just a fuck up.
I think so.
Just say, call it a fuck up. Say, hey, we've said this is a fuck up. Any other questions? Dodge it. Say,
yeah,
said it was a fuck up, and just kill the story right there. Like, just kill it.
Yeah, I think so. I may try to find the clip, because Mike Waltz was on. I think it was on like Laura Ingraham, and
he said he essentially said that, but it's got to come from Trumpy,
right? But but even so, it was just like, dude, you're lying right now. Just say you fucked up.
Yeah, the way they deflected, I'm just like, somebody has his number in there.
Yeah.
They just fucking shit the bed on it.
All right, I think this is it.
His entire cabinet. But how did a Trump-hating editor of The Atlantic end up on your Signal chat?
You know, Laura, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but of all the people out there, somehow this guy who has lied about the president, who has lied to Gold Star families, lied to their attorneys, and gone to Russia hoax, gone to just all kinds of links to lie and smear the president of the United States. And he's the one that somehow gets on somebody's contact and then gets sucked into this group.
Is someone in your intel? Is someone in your intel team trying to cause trouble here?
So he's the one that created the group on Signal. Supposedly, if we follow that logic, and we'll discount the conspiracy theories, and we'll go with Hanlon's razor and just like, is that the Hanlon's razor? You know, don't chalk up to malice what can be chalked up to incompetence. And all right, so you fat fingered it, and you bring up conspiracy though. I don't believe you, dude.
He's like a husband explaining to his wife that he only had one beer at the bar.
Right.
And you're fucking hammered.
Uh-huh.
I'm just tired. I didn't eat today.
I was really tired. It was a long day.
Yeah.
Real long day.
Matt was in town. We had one drink, and we talked for 5 hours.
Have you ever had to unload 3 loads of cattle in 2 hours? I like to see you do that.
Because that's the scuttlebutt out there.
Look,
that
we have people. No, look, this is a great group. The president has a great team. This is not first.
No, your team.
Aaron's a real great guy. Haven't talked to him in a long time.
Hey, you always say I'm angry all the time, and I just need some boy time.
I gotta have some bro time. We need to bro out. You always say like, hey, you and your boys are always so much fun together. We're just trying to have fun together, okay?
Wait, what?
No.
What's that $100 charge on the card? I don't know, but hey, I want to move past it.
Yeah,
we had a great session. Everything was successful. I don't know how.
What are you gonna bring up bullshit? Why are you gonna bring up bullshit?
and a couple of staff that were coordinating, as you saw, having a policy discussion as we went forward, and then just in the days before, what was an incrable strike.
Is that the name of the podcast? I don't know how I got drunk.
We took out
You're a Houthi. Signal to Hooters. That's what I call it. Signal to Hooters.
Signal to Hooters. That's a good one.
Quarters, missile caches, and actually one of the leaders of the Houthi organization. We've since taken out several since, and that's what they don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about the success here. They don't want to talk about the hostages getting released. They don't want to talk about the Black Sea ceasefire that we just put in place.
Well, no, because
they don't want us talking about how we bombed a caveman civilization.
and have been bombing them either directly or through Saudi Arabia since 2014. Like they had the biggest outbreak of cholera in the world because of us bombing and putting an embargo on Yemen and the Houthis, and somehow they didn't all die, and they've got cool drones that we have a hard time shooting down now.
They make it seem like they just won a battle against the Nazis.
Right.
Man, we nailed it.
Well, also, and then I go back to like, hey, when there was that whole ceasefire in Gaza, they weren't attacking ships in the Red Sea. And then when Israel started bombing Gaza again, which again, like, how many people are even left over there? Like,
right?
Fuck, man.
I mean, and whoever's left, I mean, people can't live in rubble.
And so like, and it's not like the Eastern Front of World War II where you have just division after division going at each other. No, you have the entire Israeli army and a handful of sandaled goat fuckers.
But they are pro LGBTQ, Matt.
They're something like that, yeah.
Dude, the Instagrams of just these LGBTQ people said they convert to Islam. And it's just like, it's so accepting in Islam. I'm like, what fucking mosque are you going to?
Yeah, fuck. It's whoever had that chick was the minister lady that did the prayer breakfast. She would be the imam at that mosque.
And I'm not trying to say Christianity is totally pro LGBTQ, but they're not killing them.
No, not anymore. We got away. We got away from that.
Yeah.
Place today is the president ends the largest land war in Europe, or the border, or the fact that Panama just kicked China out of the canal, and success after success.
China's out.
So they want to focus on this. It's embarrassing.
China's out.
We China's out.
To get to the bottom of it, I just talked to Elon on the way here. We've got the best technical minds looking.
Oh, I heard that. I was like, oh, they're gonna go fucking nuts that they're sticking Elon on it.
100%. I don't know this guy. I know him by his horrible reputation, and he really is the bottom scum of journalists. And
you should pull up the Pete Hegseth.
I don't text him. He wasn't
when he was on the tarmac defending after this. That's what got me. I'm like, oh, somebody fucked up. Like, there's no, because he went full on dodge. He went Rob tangent on a text real quick.
I think I heard that one.
He's on a tarmac. Like he came off the plane and they just fucking one after the other.
It was in like Hawaii or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was out with the troops or some shit.
Here it is.
Yeah.
One question.
Can you share how your information about war plans against the Houthis in Yemen was shared with a journalist in the Atlantic? And were those details classified?
You're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia, or the fine people on both sides hoax.
But was this a hoax, Pete? Because it seems like he's got receipts.
And to defend the journalist, I mean, like, they're blaming him for them putting him on the text chain.
Right.
No, I don't know how that beer got in my hand. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm not above believing that there was some fuckery going on. However, there has been no evidence provided of that. And
when you go straight to that,
and we saw with both of them now. And Mike Waltz, by the way, you're the National Security Advisor. You gotta know better than that, man. Like he's the dude was a colonel in the special forces. Like he knows a thing or two about operational security. He was one of Dick Cheney's guys for counterterrorism. Like, come on.
Well, and like they all bashed all these guys on this text chain too.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're like, oh, they should have discussions in the skiff. And I'm like, yeah, kind of, but these guys are all over the world.
Right.
Like, you got to communicate somehow.
I agree. I agree with, like, there's some things where, like, yeah, you've got to be somewhere where it can't get out. I understand that part. But also, like, when they're acting like this is a huge fucking, like our troops could have been massacred. Like, no, they couldn't have. No, the fuck they couldn't have.
Well, and after that Afghanistan pullout, to have the balls to bring troop safety in, It's absolutely
Well,
fucking ridiculous.
did you know those fucking Houthis have downed like 4 or 5 of our Reaper drones at this point?
Have they really? How?
Yeah, I don't fucking know. Like,
That makes me nervous because every time we talk about, we hope we have the cool shit.
that's what I'm saying. It's like, and the rocket they shot it down with probably costs 10, 15 grand, as opposed to like 30 million that it costs to build the fucking Reaper drone.
Yeah.
Huh.
Somehow both
Suckers.
funded by the United States.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Iran-Iraq war.
Yeah.
Like they just murdered the fuck out of each other, and we sold weapons to both sides.
And losers hope. So this is a guy that peddles in garbage. This is what he does. I would love to comment on the Houthi campaign because of the skill and courage of our troops. I've monitored it very closely from the beginning. And you see, we've been managing 4 years of deferred maintenance under the Trump administration. Our troops, our sailors were getting shot at as targets. Our ships couldn't sail through. And when they did shoot back, it was purely defensively or at shacks in Yemen. President Trump said,
at shacks
no
in
more.
Yemen, but
we will reestablish
but
deterrence.
somehow
We will open.
They're shooting down drones.
Right. They have cost us billions of dollars. And we haven't given them to them. Like, no, it's they've actually made us spend billions of dollars to try to stop them, and it hasn't fucking worked. Like, I don't know how effective these last round of strikes were, but if anything, I don't know. We've been at it for 11 years now. I'm not real optimistic that it worked this time.
See, and this is the point. If he came off that plane and said, "Yep, this was a screw up. Won't happen again. We took out blah 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 blah," probably would have died by now.
Yeah. Yeah, just take accountability, man. Even if it was some fuckery, it doesn't matter. You're a leader. Fucking lead.
Oh man.
Freedom of navigation, and we will ultimately decimate the Houthis, which is exactly what we're doing as we speak from the beginning, overwhelmingly.
So, sir, how did
shared
you get on
Signal,
there?
and how did you learn that a journalist was privy to the targets, the types of weapons used?
I've heard it was characterized. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
No, what's the adjective they use? We got to find that. What?
We
not war plans, but oh god,
I don't know, and it's not classified as sensitive information.
Yes.
Which I'm fine with that. Like I told you, radical transparency. I was actually kind of somewhat heartened by that exchange. Like JD Vance looked like a good number 2.
You know what? For how much shit? Yeah. It's battle plan.
Battle plan. Okay.
What's the fucking difference?
Because we're not at war with them.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, we haven't been technically at war since the Korean. Well, no, that was a police conflict, right? The Korean War. Isn't that what they characterized it as a police conflict?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I think for sure the last declared war was World War II, and of course every bad guy around the world now has to be Hitler, because we have no other identity except that we defeated fascism.
Fuck, man, the comparisons of Hitler are just exhausting. I'm like, you guys don't know fucking anything.
I know, and the more they do that, the more people dig into like what actually happened during World War II, and you're like, oh, well, yeah, you guys are full of shit, and okay, so how come this guy who we don't like is Hitler, but this other guy who we do like, who's way worse, is not Hitler?
Well, and all these Instagrams about like they'll put up some Canadian that brings up something. And
Oh,
the whole myth about Americans being stupid, I feel like is turning around a little bit because people are like, our generation is just studying history, you know?
yeah.
It's studying economics. Like one was like, well, you can move to Canada and have free healthcare. And like Americans like, it's not free. You know that, right? Canada has put on tariffs on the United States forever. Europe has had those tariffs since 1940.
45, 46, somewhere around in there.
And they're still there.
Yeah, still there.
Like,
so this is a good one. I
yeah.
Grampy Trump, let's talk.
let's talk.
First of all,
Talk amongst yourself.
you can't make Canada the 51st state without going to war with them. And let me explain how that happened, how that worked out the last time we tried to go to war with Canada. They burned the White House to the ground in 1814 and won the war.
When we were an infant
In the war of
country.
1812.
Canada was not a country. That was still Great Britain. That was the British Empire.
How many years ago? 1814.
1814. If you haven't noticed, we've bailed Great Britain's ass out twice. The last time we bailed them out, which they lost their entire fucking empire. And we now currently spend 4,300% more on military than Canada. We also have about 11 to 12 times more population.
Armed.
Yeah, armed, legally armed
Legally
population.
armed.
Yeah. Canada does have some guns, for sure. Nothing like what we have.
Right.
I mean, nothing like the American military, let alone the American public. Like the biggest army in the world is the United States citizens. The U.S. military dwarfs in comparison to the U.S. populace.
We've got unicorns on our rifles.
We have rednecks and gangbangers and hillbillies like begging for somebody to invade, so they get to use all their cool shit.
You even have ultra liberals like Robbed who are armed.
Right.
What are we talking about?
See, the gun thing is such a funny issue because like even the Democrats of the day, which were the Southerners, the planters, the elites that wanted their slaves, when it came down to the slave issue, they could not call them a full person because if they did, because they did not like the hypocrisy standpoint, they would have had to grant them Second Amendment rights.
Right.
So that's why they were classified as 3/5 of a person.
No, that's only a voter issue, Matt.
Right.
That's only a voter issue.
They probably like their chances against us.
I bet they don't.
I bet they
I bet they don't.
We're not going to beat them in a war because we have never been able to do that. You'd have
We
to
are
occupy.
currently supplying a country fighting the Russians,
Uh-huh.
where the Russians thought they would take over in a couple of days, and now we're in year what?
Right. We're also like trying to keep the Suez Canal open. We're also deployed. We've got 100,000 troops or so. Or well, at some point we had like 150,000 troops in Europe.
Uh-huh.
We are continually like provoking China in the Taiwan Strait and the South China Sea. Yeah, like if we just decided to divert a fraction of that, we could probably subdue Canada pretty quickly.
I don't even think Rob would make this argument. What do you think?
No,
No.
Rob's got two brothers who were, one was 82nd Airborne and one was Special Forces. They'd let him know real fucking quick.
Yeah.
A country that is equivalent of the size of the United States.
This is the best part. This is the best part. She's so dumb she doesn't even realize like she just like nuked her own argument while she was making her argument.
Is she talking about just straight up numbers now?
Well, just listen.
Size of the United States, in which the top 2/3 of it is uninhabited, frozen forest land that touches the Arctic. You know how that worked out when the Nazis tried that with Russia, which is the equivalent of Canada on that part of the world? We gonna
Canada?
lose.
Whoa. She made the claim that Canada was the equivalent of Russia during World War II.
But also the equivalent of the United States in size. But she's like, also the top 2/3 is uninhabitable. Well, okay, we don't have to conquer that then.
Cool. Smaller.
We only have to conquer the third where the people are.
Smaller space to go. Okay.
Right. And no, they didn't lose because they invaded Siberia. They lost because the Russian winter hit them before they reached civilization.
And their supply lines were really long, but
because guess what? The Russia has a vast hinterland, if you will, where literally if the Soviets were good at anything, it was making AK-47s. That was the one reliable thing that socialism ever produced. But they were also really good at dismantling factories and then reassembling them further east in Siberia. So yeah, just they're like, okay, well, we kind of like Moscow, but all right, you can have it. We'll be back here in a couple of years to take it back because we're just gonna go further and further east. Come get us.
And too, like under that dictatorship, they were just throwing bodies. I don't see Canadians willingly being thrown as war fodder.
No, not at all. Well, there's I think their total military is under 100,000 people. Their total population's about the size of Texas. So one of our states, not even our biggest state,
right?
For now, California is losing. I'm praying for them to just keep driving California into the ground so that at some point land will be affordable over there because nobody wants to live there. And then I'll go buy me a nice ranch in California because California is fucking dope.
How bad does it have to get before people realize like Gavin Newsom is not the guy?
Well, the thing is for like the normal people in California is like they know they're well aware that Gavin Newsom's a douche and they didn't vote for the guy, but they get outvoted. But they're sitting on prime real estate, so you can suffer for a lot when you've got the best ground out there.
Apparently,
I get when you see, when you see some of the like from an economic standpoint, like where they can raise cattle there in California, like I get it. Yeah, but you just be pissed off at your government the whole time. But there's still counties in California that are the people that live there are normal, but they just live in a fucked up state. But yeah. Anyway, I don't think Canada would. Maybe the French Canadians would. Those would be the ones you have to look out for because the rest of the Canadians, I think they'd topple pretty easy. But the French Canadians like their Frenchness, so and they were like the old school French before they turned into a bunch of surrender mongers. Remember when the French were like actually good at fighting? You know, back when they helped us win.
I mean, and then it just all crumbled as soon as they. I love it watching the World War II documentaries, and they're like, "Oh, the French have the best defenses in the world," and then they crumbled within fucking weeks.
And then we also have to remember, like they lost an entire generation of men too.
True.
But I mean, to that same point, so did the Brits to a lesser extent, but the Germans did probably. Well, I mean, of all of it, it'd be the Russians, the Germans, and the French that took the brunt of all that. The Brits, I mean, they lost a lot of troops, but there was a ton of like colonial troops. So like Indians and Australians and South Africans, and I don't know that we should do a study on the British Empire sometimes, because for as much as I can't stand the Brits, they really punched above their weight for a long time. Long fucking time. Before we get out of here, just to go back on the flip flop of the hypocrisy. That Jasmine Crockett chick, who's she's from Houston.
Oh fuck!
Let me pull up the video, because I mean she's really dumb.
And I'm not. I would swing conservative, but I'm pretty independent now. Every time she comes on, I'm just like, this is the best you guys got. She's like, her and AOC and old ass fucking Bernie.
I know they're talking about a Bernie AOC ticket. And you're like, he's gonna be 88, and true, his brain still works. But also, like, really, that's what you got, especially like for the lefty side of it. It's like, you got nobody better than Bernie.
And I'm not trying to say, Republicans, who they're pushing forward is any. Well, yes, they are better, but like,
yeah, I'll take JD Vance over anybody they're putting up right now.
Not hypocrisy wise, but like literally, JD Vance can go into a debate or an argument and make a decent argument, or at least refute facts.
Right. Like he can handle himself. So anyway, we'll watch this. I thought this was pretty funny. The conservatives got pretty big mad over it.
Because we in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So yes.
Governor Hot Wheels.
I thank you for setting up that softball today. When we talked about how everybody was screaming their heads off when Joe Biden couldn't speak, and he was like, Rob would be like, well, don't make fun of his stutter.
Yeah. And
then has no problem with this. And dementia is a disability. We found that out today.
We did find that out. I don't think it's all right. So disability is something you can't help, and I guess dementia does fall under that category. But also, it happens at the end of your life, and it's kind of expected. Whereas, like Down syndrome
falling on you,
Down syndrome, you're there. That's there the whole time.
The whole time.
That doesn't. You don't have like adult onset Down syndrome.
Well, Rob might.
Rob might.
Or no, Mike might.
Mike had that. His was early adolescent onset Down syndrome. But I was a big fan of that moment. All of it, because we'll pop it back up here. She's speaking in front of the human rights campaign.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Right there. Human rights campaign.
Good timing.
She also, like, she had that one planned out. she was she'd been workshopping that little dig, Governor Hot Wheels, and I gotta say it was effective. It worked.
It's just straight up a high school student council.
I know.
Fucking like it's not even the smartest person in the room. It's like the one who can quip the best.
But
and it wasn't even like a great quip.
No,
her delivery sucked. By the way,
right? She like the quip was pretty good, but the delivery was canned. It was yeah. I mean, she telegraphed it. But then the response on the conservative side is hilarious because now the free speech warriors and like, oh, can't cancel me, I'm gonna just say it how it is. Matt Walsh, it's not remarkable that a trashy ghetto dimwit like Jasmine Crockett would make fun of disabled people. What's revealing is that the crowd at the Human Rights Campaign loudly applauded everything you need to know about leftist human rights groups.
All I'm picturing, remember when Trump did his little arm thing about the reporter?
And guess what? That was funny too. Was it appropriate? No, probably not, but who fucking cares? God damn it. But yeah, it's like bravo to the ultra Christian right there, Matt Walsh. You went back to being not funny. Thank you. That's the Christian right that I grew up with and know and love.
Is that the formula?
I think so.
You can only be funny if your guy's not in the White House.
I think so. Well, it's just like the classic rule of hypocrisy. It's like it's only funny when it's not your side.
Uh-huh.
It's only okay to make fun of it if it's the other side. But
and here on the Death of Fun,
he's our cripple. You can't say that.
Here on the Death of Fun, we make fun of everybody.
We make fun of it all.
We're all about equity.
We are equity, inclusion, diversity. We're EDI or EID. We're EIDs over here.
We're equal shit opportunists.
Yeah,
talking opportunists.
We worship at the Church of South Park for the most part, which is just go for the funny, regardless of where you find it. Go for the funny. And that was pretty funny, Jasmine Crockett. I don't think she wrote that, but that was pretty funny. Governor Hot Wheels was I mean, that's solid. It's solid.
You know what would have been a better delivery if she said Governor Hot Wheels and then she said lead in the way, like the whole commercial.
Let me pull up my because I found a meme. I can't take credit for the meme, but I scored it to a pretty good song, I thought. And
oh yeah, I think you sent me this.
I think so.
As I'm watching the South Park where Kyle goes and visits the nurse and she's got a dead fetus on her head.
Okay. Maybe not. I don't know what's happening.
Right in the backstretch, heartache. My tears are holding back there, trying not to fall. My heart's out of the running, to love scratch for another save.
And
here comes pride in the backstretch, heartache.
And I have to say, like the old parent line is like, well, how would you like to be in a wheelchair? I'm sorry, if I was in a wheelchair or had a disability, I would fucking make jokes about it all the damn time. I'd make fun of me just being an absolute caveman all the fucking time.
I'm an adopted foster rat kid. I've made fun of that my entire life. How else do you cope with it?
You're now 1,000th Jewish, and
I know
made tons of Jews.
Fucking made my lifetime. Do you know how many jokes that allows me to say now? Holy shit! It's like hitting the lottery.
All right, Matthew, I'm faded, bud.
Oh, me too. Well, It's been a fun one. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you go follow all the stuff. I made new pages for everything. The Death of Fun on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I think there's one on Twitter too, but go follow us. And this has been the Death of Fun.
Don't be a fucking hypocrite.
Boom.